that there is some conflict going on with Harry and Meghan in their relationship.
King Charles has just got his revenge on Meghan Markle on his state tour of the US.
For years, the mainstream media bought the fairy tale. They sold the narrative of the modern, progressive rescue mission, the independent actress saving the trapped prince from a toxic, archaic institution. But investigative biographer TomBower has just taken a sledgehammer to that illusion. He has laid bare the verified psychological forensics of the Montecito operation. Bower has exposed 10 ugly, undeniable truths about exactly how Meghan Markle controls Prince Harry, and the reality is absolutely terrifying. To understand the sheer scale of this psychological capture, we must look at the first two ugly truths exposed in Bower's dossier: the calculated isolation and the paranoia machine. Truth number 1, the calculated isolation. Bower reveals that the Megxit flight was never a rescue mission. It was a highly premeditated quarantine. She didn't save Harry from the institution. She methodically severed him from his entire network of protectors. The old Eton friends, the trusted military advisors, the fiercely loyal palace aides, they were all systematically categorized as toxic and removed. She convinced him that his own family was plotting his demise, leaving her as his only lifeline. He is not an independent actor.
Trip, just as an overview from you, Charles and Camilla, 4 days in the States with the president who loathes the Prime Minister of Great Britain. In my opinion, soft diplomacy at its greatest, and Charles had him eating out of his bleeding hand, didn't he?
I think it's been a phenomenal success, and all power to the monarchy. Thank goodness we haven't got President Blair or somebody to do that sort of thing. No, it's been terrific. The king has...
He is a hostage on an island of her making. Truth number 2, the paranoia machine. Bower exposes the chilling reality of how Meghan weaponized Harry's deeply ingrained trauma. She allegedly feeds his distrust of the media and the crown on a daily basis, ensuring he remains locked in a state of constant defensive panic. By keeping him perpetually afraid of the press and convinced he is under attack, she guarantees that she remains the ultimate victim, the only person who truly understands him. She controls the threat level, which means she controls his reactions. Let us go inside the $14 million Montecito compound to see the fallout. The California sun is blinding outside, but the house is a freezing tomb. The silence is deafening. In a fortress that supposedly houses a vibrant, thriving family, the silence is predatory and unnatural. There are no sounds of life. There's only the suffocating quiet of a psychological command center. Silence isn't innocence, it is gasoline, and the entire estate is drenched in it. Prince Harry is pacing the length of his cavernous study, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He is consumed by the very paranoia she fed him, staring at the transcripts of TomBower's exposure.
Propaganda that they keep pumping out, but it does show you just how twisted this couple remain.
Yeah. And you know what it also says, Dan, is Meghan always tries to show up as the victim, to say people bully me, right? Bully her. And this is exactly how Meghan actually does her bullying. Things that she knows will give her the attention and not give it to the real royals. You know, Meghan is a bully, and she does it with these things like this. And I just think, you know, people really need to be on to how she actually does.
He realizes that the us against the world narrative was merely a sophisticated recruitment operation designed to separate him from his homeland. He traded the impenetrable armor of a 1,000-year-old empire for the flimsy walls of a California mansion. He is a depreciated asset with nowhere to run. Down the hall, in the war room, Meghan is not weeping. She is never sad. She operates with chilling surgical precision. She relies on ambiguity to survive, but the cold, hard truths laid out by Bower have burned away her cover. Shut down the narrative, she dictates to her scrambling crisis team over an encrypted line, her voice metallic and entirely flat. Attack the author, weaponize the race card, but she is negotiating with ghosts. She cannot dictate reality when the entire world is reading the audited playbook of her control. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, stands in the quiet, historic authority of the palace. He watches the simulation crash. The crown is not sending a rescue team. They are letting the unmasking happen in real time. The exposure deepens. TomBower doesn't just dismantle the illusion of a modern romance. He exposes the brutal corporate mechanics of their marriage. We now arrive at truth number 3 and truth number 4, the financial leash and the scripted reality. Truth number 3, the financial leash. Bower exposes the chilling reality that Harry was convinced his family had completely cut him off, forcing him into a desperate commercial hustle. But who controls the Delaware shell companies? Who negotiates the Hollywood contracts? Meghan installed herself as the CEO of his trauma. Harry is merely the face of the operation, trotted out to sell his royal grievances while she controls the purse strings. He is not an equal partner. He is a corporate asset on a tight financial leash. Truth number 4, the scripted reality. The fun, spontaneous prince is dead. Bower reveals the terrifying forensics of their public appearances. Every lingering look, every hand squeeze, and every televised grievance is highly choreographed. Harry is no longer speaking his own mind. He is reciting lines written in the Montecito war room.
And this is exactly what Meghan needs to see. She needs to be put in her place in a way that shows her, sit aside, girl. You don't have anything on the real royals. And I believe she's really feeling it really hard right now because this is beautiful to see, Dan.
Oh, it really is. It really is because, of course, Charles and Camilla really aced it from a political point of view in Washington, D.C. You could argue that was the high stakes moment of the visit, P. Dinah. But what they have been able to prove in New York is they still have that cultural cachet. And remember, what Harry and Meghan were attempting to prove when they moved to America was we're going to take the celebrity stuff. Okay, you can keep the politics. We're going to do the celebrity. But actually, celebrity want proximity to real royalty, not total faking grift.
Every daytime television show runs with it for a month.
And I think when you try to do things like that, it only comes back in your face so hard when you see that Charles and Camilla are able to have relationships with people that Meghan would only dreams of having relationships with. She has been outed and just pushed aside by almost every A-lister. And
He has been completely reprogrammed to parrot the California therapy speak that fuels her brand. Let us return to the Montecito compound. It is 3 a.m. A suffocating marine layer of fog has swallowed the $14 million fortress. Inside the house is a freezing tomb. The silence is absolute, predatory, and entirely deafening. In a compound that supposedly holds a vibrant family, there is not a single trace of life. There are no toys in the sterile, immaculate hallways. There is only the hum of the security servers and the realization that the walls are closing in. Silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline. And tonight, the match is lit. Prince Harry sits alone in the dark of his living room, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He stares at the glowing screen of his laptop, watching the global reaction to Bower's merciless exposure. He realizes that he is an employee in his own life. The recruitment operation he fell for didn't bring him freedom. It handed him a script. He traded the duty of the crown for a Hollywood hustle that has just expired. Across the hall, in the war room, Meghan is wide awake. She is never sad. She is an apex predator, operating with chilling surgical precision.
Meghan and Harry, I see that Spotify have dumped, and I can't imagine why, because it was just such riveting audio.
Apparently it did rate well amongst some audiences, but...
I can tell you exactly who it would have rated well amongst, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. So this is Meghan's Archetype podcast, where she interviews renowned women, and some men are of influence, like herself. But apparently, due to failing to meet, they have failed to renew it for a second season, and she won't be getting that full pay.
She really shows up, and not just when it's easy. And there's a real PR attempt.
She relies on ambiguity to survive, but the broadcasted data of her control leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. Rebrand the financials, she dictates to her scrambling legal team over an encrypted line, her voice completely flat. Put his name on the next lawsuit. She is attempting to rewrite reality, but she is negotiating with ghosts. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, receives the intelligence reports. He is cold. He is surgical. The palace now officially treats Harry not as a rogue brother, but as a captured asset. The men in gray suits are watching the grift bleed out on international television, and they are not lifting a finger to stop it. The exposure reaches its darkest depths. TomBower doesn't just outline a PR strategy, he details a comprehensive psychological siege. We now arrive at truth number 5, truth number 6, and truth number 7. The ghost protocol, the emotional blackmail, and the digital gatekeeping. Truth number 5, the ghost protocol. Bower reveals the most disturbing manipulation of all, the deliberate weaponization of Princess Diana's memory. Meghan allegedly positioned herself as the reincarnation of Harry's mother, convincing him that the media and the royal family are hunting her exactly as they hunted Diana.
I think that's the point. You think about Harry and Meghan and all the rubbish that surrounds those.
The British monarchy fights back after months of negative headlines and suggestions that it's all over, after months of a...
She hijacked his deepest trauma, ensuring that if he fails to defend her, he is failing his mother all over again. Truth number 6, the emotional blackmail, the ultimate unspoken leverage. Bower exposes the terrifying reality that Harry is paralyzed by the constant looming threat of abandonment. The implication is clear. If he steps out of line, if he attempts to reconcile with his family, she will take the children and deploy the ultimate victim narrative against him. He is trapped by his own absolute terror of losing his family a second time. Truth number 7, the digital gatekeeping. Harry is completely isolated from the outside world. Bower indicates that Meghan acts as the supreme filter for all his communications. The old friends who try to reach him find their numbers blocked. The emails are screened. He only sees the news she wants him to see. Let us step back inside the Montecito fortress. It is high noon, but the California sun cannot pierce the psychological winter of this estate. The house is a freezing tomb. The silence is absolute and deafening. There are no sounds of a vibrant family. There is only the predatory quiet of a PR machine that has completely run out of fuel. Silence isn't innocence, it is gasoline, and the match is burning down to the fingers. Prince Harry is standing by the massive bay windows, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He watches the live feed of the exposure.
Looks like Meghan is definitely trying to make some headway against the royals. Harry is beside himself allowing it to happen because he's an idiot. He doesn't get all of this stuff. He doesn't have the proper people around him to make these important decisions for him. So who's making these decisions? Meghan. Oh, she's conniving the whole way. And Meghan is, I believe, making some headway in the media.
Realizing that he isn't a protector, he is a prisoner guarding his own cell. The recruitment operation he fell for hijacked his grief and turned it into a weapon against his own blood. He is a depreciated asset with zero leverage. In the war room, Meghan is pacing. She is never sad. She operates with chilling, surgical precision. She relies on ambiguity to survive, but Bower is systematically turning on all the lights. Call the friendly journalists, she dictates to her rapidly shrinking team over an encrypted line, her voice entirely flat. Plan a story about his independence. We need a solo project immediately. But she is negotiating with ghosts. The media is no longer buying the independence illusion. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, monitors the global reaction. He is cold. He is surgical. He is final. The palace recognizes that Harry is no longer a combatant. He is a casualty. The trap is tightening, and the psychological walls of Montecito are rapidly closing in.
Both Democrats and Republicans standing up 12, 13 times to cheer him and to clap him just showed how after 60 years of being on the stage, he really is able to master it. And what I liked most of all in that terrific speech was when he said, "By Jove." I mean, there was the man who loved the goons, who loved Bertie Wooster, the real Englishman, and of course the Americans rightly loved him.
Just gave off the impression of a calm authority, and to me, yeah, I thought it was brilliant, mate. Does it help?
So, I mean, you won't become an anti-monarchist overnight if you watch that performance. But the real problem is, of course, that young people and immigrants on the whole are anti-monarchist. And there's a great job to be done, not only by King Charles, but obviously by William too, Prince of Wales, to get more support for the monarchy. And I think this trip will prove to the doubters the importance of a king, the importance of the institution, and why the monarchy...
The exposure enters its most surgical phase. TomBower now dismantles the final pillars of Prince Harry's former life. We arrive at truth number 8 and truth number 9, The Identity Erasure and the Ultimatum Trap. Truth number 8. The Identity Erasure. Bower exposes the systematic destruction of Harry's core self. He was once the military man, the beloved royal rogue, the fiercely loyal brother. Meghan didn't just change his location, she fundamentally erased his identity. She replaced his lifelong duty with a hollow Hollywood hustle, turning a respected prince into a bitter, scripted appendage of her own brand. Truth number 9. The Ultimatum Trap. The most terrifying truth of all. Bower reveals that Meghan has burned Harry's bridges so
Anyone shocked at this point, the Timu royals just can't help themselves. We know why this was released today. We know what their intentions were.
There was a People magazine article that came out on day 2 of King Charles's visit.
thoroughly that a retreat is mathematically impossible. By making him publicly attack his own family, she ensured he has no safe harbor left. He is trapped not just by love or fear, but by the devastating reality that if he leaves her, he faces an absolute global void. Let us go back inside the Montecito compound. It is dusk. A suffocating marine lair has swallowed the $14 million fortress, turning it into an isolated tomb. The silence is absolute, predatory, and deafening. There are no sounds of life in the sterile, immaculate hallways. Silence isn't innocence, it is gasoline. And tonight, the match is lit. Prince Harry is wandering the empty corridors, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He listens to the echoes of the exposure, finally realizing the sheer magnitude of his erasure. He traded the impenetrable armor of his birthright for a California mirage. The recruitment operation he fell for didn't liberate him. It completely deleted him. He is a depreciated asset facing a world where he has absolutely no homeland. In the war room, Meghan is wide awake. She is never sad. She operates with chilling surgical precision. She relies on ambiguity to survive, but the hard broadcasted data of his psychological capture leaves her with no shadows to hide in. Push the veteran narrative, she dictates to her panicked PR team over an encrypted line, her voice metallic and flat. We need him with the Invictus crowd. We need him to look like a leader.
This is a terrible state we're in today, because not least because of what happened in Golders Green yesterday, and the King transcends that. I'm sure when he comes back to Britain, he'll immediately try to make amends. He did it in Washington. He'll come back to Britain. I'm sure he'll do it here.
With this planned trip to Australia and now this article in People magazine with the King in America.
But she is negotiating with ghosts. The military community has already audited his loyalty. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, watches the broadcast conclude its 4th segment. He is cold. He is surgical. He is final. The institution has sealed the perimeter, allowing the harsh light of reality to burn away the last remnants of the Montecito illusion. The trap is locked in place, and the drop is imminent. The exposure reaches its absolute terminus. TomBower delivers the final lethal blow to the Montecito illusion. We arrive at truth number 10, the illusion of freedom. Bower reveals the ultimate devastating secret. Harry believed he was breaking free from a royal cage, but Meghan simply transferred him into a much smaller, deeply isolated psychological prison. He didn't escape the firm, he just traded the protection of a 1,000-year-old empire for a California hostage situation. Let us step inside the Montecito tomb one last time. The marine layer has burned off, exposing the fortress to the harsh, unforgiving light of reality.
Meghan has her fingerprints all over it. But what is interesting, P. Dinah, is people are actually insisting that they have sources close to Harry too, which makes it very shameful on his part as well. So a source close to Harry insists this idea that he's going against the wishes of the Queen by being half in, half out is nonsense. None of this is being done in the name of the institution. But for some inside palace circles, that overlap remains deeply contentious. Sally Bedell-Smith, who is, of course, very well connected to the palace, says they are pushing the envelope and making it much more difficult for reconciliation too.
The silence is absolute and deafening. Silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline. And the entire operation has just gone up in flames. Prince Harry stands by the window, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He finally realizes the recruitment operation he fell for has left him a depreciated asset with absolutely nowhere to run. The psychological capture is complete. In the war room, Meghan is a cornered predator. She is never sad. She operates with chilling surgical precision.
They're making it look good for the cameras because they have to. They have to keep making money. And just by some key things that have been said within this couple and their relationship shows you what is actually happening.
And make us feel like we should be supportive or feel sorry for Meghan Markle, with sources saying that her resilience is hard won. They both try to focus on staying as positive as possible, says a source, but people forget they're human beings, especially Meghan. There's only so much a person can handle. Still, that same source says their focus remains steady. They wake up every day focused on being the best parents they can be. No matter what comes at them, they pick themselves up and keep moving forward. Well, they're hardly down the mines.
But the broadcasted reality of truth number 10 leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, stands in the quiet, historic authority of the palace. He is cold. He is surgical. He is final. The perimeter is fully secured. The simulation has violently crashed. History will remember Harry not as the prince who found freedom, but as the captive who willingly handed over the keys to his own cell. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, the truth is undefeated.